All right, my friends, welcome to episode 400 of Prof and Dev Play Games. If I were like better organized and wasn't mad chaos in my life, I'd have something big planned for this episode, but I don't. But this is Prof and Dev Play Games. We're very lucky to be here for episode 400. Very excited about that. Over there is Anthony, the dev. He makes games. He makes games that I can't find in a store. And I am the professor. I play games. I've been looking everywhere for just a very low-key kind of chill sort of way, looking for Astroneer on Switch. And like in the last 2 weeks, I've gotten a little bit more fervent trying to find the fucking thing. I can't find a physical version.
A physical copy? I bet it's
of
it
Switch.
might be sold out physically. Like, I'll be honest, like we probably
didn't print very many, right?
No, and that's through the publisher. That would have been Gearbox Publishing.
Oh well, okay.
Would have handled.
I have to
physical.
blame Embracer then.
Maybe at this point. Although I don't remember when they got bought until when they did the physical publishing of Astroneer. Like the thing, Gearbox Publishing handles physical.
I take it all back, Anthony.
You find it?
I never looked at Best Buy.
Oh, there you go.
There it is. I'm going to add it to my cart right now. Okay.
But yeah, that's
excellent. I need a copy so I can have you sign it.
That's true.
But I wanted a Switch copy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Well, this is happening.
What do I have? I have a Switch copy and a Japanese Switch copy or a Japanese PS4 copy.
Interesting. I can get it.
I'd have
Tuesday,
to look. It's on my back.
And then I'm going to send it to you. Cool. Okay. Well, fuck.
Oh, there you go.
Made a big deal out of that, but I was
you
like,
found it.
I never checked fucking
Best Buy.
I never checked Best Buy. My friend, Tom, who was on the podcast for Tears of the Kingdom, has been looking like mad for the Link amiibo and couldn't find it anywhere. And then he finally found it on Best Buy. Recently.
Do they have the Noah and Mio's back available yet?
I haven't looked
because I have my Zelda amiibo pre-ordered through the Noah Mio 2-pack still not available.
That makes sense.
They had sold out and it's gone.
We're going to use that card. We're going to continue. Episode 400 is about listening to me by Astroneer, finally. And what is my fucking security code? God,
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Say it online. That's in the podcast. I'm sure that's
625-421. Yes, no one is going to... Let's try that one. That is definitely not it. Okay. Anyway, episode 400. It worked. That was it. Awesome. Great. All right. It'll be here on Tuesday. I don't know how the fuck that worked. Okay. So this week we're talking about something that nobody on any podcast has talked about. This is a I don't know, world premiere special event. We're talking about the massive Xbox leak, which is, I've never seen the government move so quickly when the government said, this wasn't us. We didn't do it.
Yeah. They're like, nope.
This is some intern at Xbox really fucked this up.
Oh yeah, someone's getting real fired over this one.
Oh, someone's already fired, right?
Yeah.
Someone's gone. Jesus Christ.
And we should actually be clear about this. Like, we're covering from a game angle, but this was like Microsoft as a whole. Like, I've seen little bits and pieces from stuff outside of the game side of being like internal emails about like not giving big higher managers talking about not giving excellent reviews as much because they don't want to pay out as much in bonuses and stuff. And like getting, oh yeah, I saw that in a brief thing.
Shit!
But I mean, you could probably go look up other pretty nasty stuff. There was stuff on cryptocurrency stuff that Microsoft was potentially gonna do.
Oh sure.
That the time kind of has passed, I think, what those emails had said, but it might still be up in the air. So we'll cover the game stuff, but this was actually really huge, and there's a lot of just secrets and stuff you don't want out there for Microsoft as a company as a whole.
No, because for all that Phil Spencer is saying, like, oh, we'll tell our real news when it's ready. Like, this is fucking 5 years of like future plans. This is up through 2028. Wow, man, I didn't know about the Microsoft stuff though, because I've only heard from the gaming stuff. Okay, so there was a leak. It was part of the Activision Xbox trial. Xbox provided a link to PDFs or whatever that the FTC posted, and then those links, I guess, included like a bunch of attachments that they didn't know were in there or something like that.
Yeah.
And there's like 291 pages worth of stuff, like emails, like tons of emails from Phil Spencer. Like, did you see the email where he was just I put it in the Discord where he was just bitching about like the only PS5 available is the Horizon Zero Dawn bundle. Or whatever.
The bundle.
Or,
whenever it was only bundles.
Yeah, the Forbidden West. I mean.
Yep.
But yeah.
When they, I saw him bitching about that, and I'm like, remember that this was the time that Sony couldn't produce that many PS5s? Like, yeah, exactly. They couldn't meet demand, so their way of doing it was to selectively like do less and just do them as bundles, or what they could get.
Well, and if they're at high demand, then I will get you to buy a game too. This is great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I did see that one.
Man, that's just amazing.
But yeah, where do we want to start? I mean, okay, yeah, actually, the articles we have, it is true. Good. The first one is probably the big. Yes, they considered buying Nintendo, or considered how they could acquire Nintendo if it was possible. Why they were writing this in the middle of 2020 when like Nintendo was popping off, completely confuses me. But sure.
There was a take on this that I thought was interesting, and I haven't read the actual email, so I don't know if this is going to fit or not. But two things. One, Xbox talked about this before, like in like the year 2000 or whatever, they tried to buy Nintendo. But in this case, it was like someone who's not someone in Microsoft who wasn't super into the game sphere was like, what if we just, use that money to buy Nintendo instead? And he was kind of like trying to help the guy save face by being like, well, that would be a career-defining moment, but fucking impossible. But if they were into it, we'd be the best people for it. So it kind of, I understood that take as like a little bit less embarrassing for Phil Spencer, but overall it's just like, well, yeah, let's just try to buy Nintendo at the time when Animal Crossing came out and was huge, and the fucking pandemic was making the Switch pop off.
Switch was completely pop. I'm just like, I get it. That might be something. There was like something in there that Phil Spencer responded with, which was the like, it was something about like Nintendo just hasn't realized that its software is what matters. It's not the hardware. That's the gist I'm paraphrasing, but he was really just kind of sitting there being like shitting on them being a hardware company. And I'm like, I guarantee you, and I know for a fact Nintendo sees itself as a hardware company. Oh yeah. And the difference is Nintendo makes money on every console they sell.
Yep.
Unlike you. They can be a hardware company and be profitable at it.
They see themselves as a toy company, and the toy is the hardware. Like,
yes.
That's the hardware. That's the toy.
So I don't think you're going to get them. I don't think you'll see the Japanese side of the company ever switch that stance and that view. Like, it's very ingrained. It's a very part of their culture about what's the identity of Nintendo as a company. So
yeah,
I don't think they would just sell. Just like, we just want to sell and have our IP someplace else. Also, just console, they want to make the console. Like, that is a thing.
That's almost like the funnest thing about the R&D is like making this new box that does fun things, I would assume.
Yeah.
But it's business. Like this kind of came off as like this really big story, and it's like, duh. They already talked about this before. And yeah, of course, one business. They're trying to buy Activision. Of course they'd want to.
Yeah, and they're trying to put up Valve in there as well, which is another thing. I'm like, as long as Gabe Newell is still living, I doubt anyone's ever buying that company.
Yeah.
Gabe has no reason to sell. At all. He already has a big pile of money. A continually growing big pile of money.
Right, there's no incentive at all.
So why would you sell?
Right. Because to get out of it, because it's so hard to run the business. I don't think that's
true at all.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he's put people in play. I don't know how directly he runs the business at all anymore. Or needs to.
He lives in New Zealand and gets the money.
Yeah.
Or is he still there?
Yeah. Is he still in New Zealand? I don't know if he's still in New Zealand. He came back. I mean, he didn't move the company, so...
No, of course not.
I feel like he got out of New Zealand eventually. But, I mean, it's just Microsoft wanting to buy up people. They did speak of Nintendo, like, Phil Spencer did say, it's like, I don't think the hostile route would be good. And I'm like, no, that wouldn't be good. Well, it'd be great that you would get out, but I have a feeling that would piss a lot of people off and not be great.
That's what made it all feel like explaining to someone who doesn't know how things go. This is not a great idea.
Let's step back there.
I mean, nothing would piss like like buying Activision like sucks. Conglomerations and corporations growing sucks. I'm excited Bobby Kotick can fuck right off, but like them buying Nintendo would really piss me off. Like I love Nintendo being fucking weird and on their own.
Yeah.
Next one is Bethesda might be working on an Oblivion remaster. Yep. They leaked, quote unquote, leaked some games. One of them was an Oblivion remaster. Did you play Oblivion?
Long ago, not even a huge amount, but I played it. I think it was a 360 launch title.
Yeah, right. See here.
And I played it on the 360 for a bit.
And did it do anything for you?
No, not really. I mean, I might. Like it, but... Yeah. Really, when I hear people talk about Elder Scrolls stuff, Skyrim, of course, was huge. People seem to like Oblivion, but they liked Morrowind more.
Mm-hmm.
Did that thing have a leak of Morrowind? Are they remaking that as well?
Not
or
that I
Oblivion?
saw. Just Oblivion. Yeah, Fallout 3 and Oblivion as well.
Oh, Fallout. That was right. Fallout 3 and Oblivion. I could see them remaking Fallout 3.
Oh, yeah. I mean, put up Fallout 3 and New Vegas in a bundle if Bethesda can swallow their pride. I mean, they're all together again. So.
But that makes sense that Bethesda would be working on remasters, because I think we have a long wait for Elder Scrolls 6.
Oh yeah, something to wet the whistle in the meantime.
Yes. But that made sense. Those two, because what else was there? Sequels to Ghostwire Tokyo, which I don't know if that will actually happen or not. Like this was old. I think this email came from like 2020 because they had like Starfield out in 2022 listed there. Like the roadmap was way out of date.
Yeah,
it had a picture. I was trying to see if it actually dates didn't really line up completely well. But yeah, there was Ghostwire Tokyo sequel, there was a Dishonored 3.
Yes,
that could be cool.
The most exciting one, I think. Like, you guys fucked up with Redfall. Let's just go back to what you know how to do. But this was 2020, though. This is before the fuck up. So.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know I think any of this can take with a little grain of salt at the moment on, like, some of these may have been canned. Remasters, less likely, because that's probably an easier thing to do when you want, but...
Yeah, when I look at that list, I think Ghostwire Tokyo sequel, no, that's not happening.
Yeah, probably not.
Dishonored 3, maybe not, but Fallout 3 and Elder Scrolls Oblivion, yes, I think those are very likely.
Yep. We had Phil Spencer talking about AAAs, AAA game publishers, not just games, the publishers.
Yeah, this email was, I thought, despite the typos, I was like, I'm always surprised to see these PR people like making typos, because this is like shit they're just sending to their friends. Like,
I don't care.
Or whatever. But like, AAA publishers were slow to react to digital storefronts like Steam and Xbox and PlayStation, and are really just trying to triple down on their huge... Think Ubisoft. They're trying to triple down on Assassin's Creed because that's the safe bet. Mm-hmm. They can't make big bets on new IP. The thing that I liked the most about this email was he was talking about how like a lot of the big stuff coming out was by independent studios with full access to distribution. So things that are kind of disrupting the market or like, becoming huge. Fortnite, Roblox, Minecraft, Candy Crush, which King stole from PopCap. Clash Royale, Dota 2. Gotta get that jab in there.
There you go.
But it seemed like a pretty thoughtful email, and he was right. And that was 2020, I think.
Yeah. And this actually feeds in like when you're thinking outside the box kind of AAA games. It leads into another point here that was like on this list, they underestimated Baldur's Gate 3, which is a very AAA polished game. For the genre it is, it's 100% a AAA game.
Oh yeah. Oh, how much money they spent on that thing?
Yeah, money, and that completely independent, and none of the main publishers, even though it's D&D, would never touch this type of game.
No.
They would never make this internally. The big publishers. So.
Well, and they called it a second run Stadia RPG, which is all true. Second run doesn't mean second rate. It means it was on Stadia first and then coming somewhere else next, which it never actually was on Stadia, but it launched on Stadia. Which I didn't realize until that moment when I read about this email that I am playing Baldur's Gate 3 with the Stadia controller that they allowed to be used for Bluetooth now. So I use that controller on my PC. That's funny.
But that goes back to the thing of him I do think, in a lot of ways, if you're looking for AAA games now that are not going to be part of the basically publisher main franchises, you're not going to find it from those publishers. So, like, EA is only going to probably do, well, they're doing a AAA new Mass Effect. Theoretically, a Dragon Age at some point is going to come out. They're trying. They're going to continue their sports franchises. They're going to continue their Battlefield franchise. Theoretically, another Jedi Survivor.
Oh, I mean, Jedi. Not theoretically. Today it was confirmed they're doing a 3.
Yeah, they did that, and then the dude that was run that studio had left.
Yeah, Stig Asmussen.
So yeah, he left. I'm like, oh no. So they want to be making that Jedi 3. How hard it's going to be, I don't know, because I also don't know him leaving. My thought is he's probably going to go start something new.
Yes, definitely. He got poached by Sony or something.
So poached by Sony, or he's going to go independent and do his own studio. Either way, I feel like there's going to be turnover that follow him.
Oh, yeah.
So I just feel like you're in a place of like, well, who knows how much of that team that has been working on the Jedi game so far is still going to be there. So it just puts a big risk on like how long that might take to come out and get solidified. But I'm really thinking there, you have that. Activision just does Call of Duty. I don't even know what the hell they're going to do with Blizzard anymore.
I mean, Blizzard's going to keep running WoW until it dies, and Overwatch till it dies, which is imminent.
I'm worried Diablo 4 is not doing great.
Really?
No. Its player base is really small.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that.
It's very sad. It's dropped. Through the metrics that you can see publicly, kind of general idea. Yeah, its interest in it has faded pretty fast.
Well, I mean, has it, or is it just like an attention economy where like there's a bunch of other awesome games out?
There's a bunch of other awesome games out, but that's not going to stop.
No, it's not. No, and have you seen like people have pushed out of 2023 into 2024, and the first quarter of 2024 looks fucking it's like 2023 part 2.
And that's the unfortunate part now, and I just don't think my general prediction now is like it's going to be hard to see Diablo 4 spike up in player base again. Like it's the first season didn't keep people engaged. I tried it some and it was fine.
Yeah.
But weirdly D3 seasons were better.
Well, and I read an article today about the final D3 season is like this is what D4 is getting wrong.
Yeah.
Like it's not as good as this kind of thing.
But I mean, that's what Activision basically has, those franchises.
Yeah.
Sony is more diversified, I will say. They have a lot of studios, and they're willing to put a lot of money into new things. Not all the time. They do they balance it.
I mean, Horizon is new.
Yeah, it was a new one.
2017 was the first time. So.
Yep.
Returnal. I don't know if Housemarque did that before they got bought.
Yeah, I don't remember. But yeah, you have Returnal.
Destruction All Stars, which bombed.
Yeah, but Sony, like, that's the thing. They just have so many studios that they can. I would say they probably give about a quarter of them per product cycle a chance to do something new. So actually, that seems fine. Nintendo's always going to do new things. They always have their Marios and Zeldas.
Yep.
But then you get things like Splatoon, which may not be huge in the West, but is enormous at Japan.
Oh, it's huge in Japan.
Like, they're making franchises that were, I would say, are old. They bring them back and make them popular. I'll put it this way. Nintendo just has a lot of franchises that they can pick and choose from. And they don't always introduce new ones, but they can keep reintroducing so many different type of games.
Well, and I guess that's the point that I would like to highlight with Nintendo is that, like, just take Mario, for example. Mario characters, but then they spin off a ton of different kinds of games with those characters, so like they're not taking a huge risk. Like people like Princess Peach, so they'll come for Showtime, even though that is technically a new game and a new franchise. But there's some hook or anchor already for the audience.
So I kind of feel like they're like Sony in a reasonably good place for experimentation. I think that Microsoft is trying to be in a better place. They're not there yet.
Well, but I mean, games like Oblivion put it out, and I love that game, and I forgot the name of it already. At the end of 2022, it's medieval. It's got fucking books in it.
Oh right,
God.
Pentiment, which is not a AAA.
It's not AAA, but it is still like that indie kind of experimentation feel. But certainly not AAA.
Microsoft, with all the studios they bought, have a good chance to have some diversity there. I mean, Starfield is one. That's a new IP from Bethesda, big AAA. Right. Who knows? Avowed eventually comes out. That's a big one. They did pretty good with Sea of Thieves, I would say, with Rare, and I just saw the stuff that they're gonna have us add single player to it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that gets me interested.
Uh-huh.
Ah, nice.
So I mean, they're not all screwed.
Everwild by Rare. No, yeah, exactly. There's new stuff coming, but I think that the point in general is well taken. Like, they've kind of boxed themselves out of being able to take risks, and they have to bet on shit that's already out.
Yeah,
that's established.
Unfortunately, yeah. And some of them more than others. Ubisoft is definitely doubling down, tripling down on that. Activision,
I feel like that whole email was
EA
about
has,
Ubisoft.
have done similar.
Yeah.
Weirdly, it's the publishers that don't have their own consoles.
Well, yeah, because
really,
Nintendo owns the storefront. PlayStation owns the storefront. So does Xbox. You know.
Yeah.
And Valve too, obviously.
Yep. Valve just doesn't make games.
No, but they made something with the deck, and they actually stuck with it.
Oh yeah.
Next thing on here was that Microsoft expected a Red Dead Redemption 2 next-gen refresh. They thought that happened in 2022, and did not.
I think everyone thought that would happen.
I thought the same thing with Last of Us 2. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
The next piece is stunning to me, but it shouldn't be, obviously. 3/4 of Xbox gamers had a Series S. Between the time it launched until April 2022, 74.8% of Xbox new owners were Xbox Series S, and X is obviously 25.2%.
Yeah.
Jesus.
More recent data suggests the split is closer to 50-50 now, but still, 50-50, and 50% of your customer base has the shitty console.
That's why the Baldur's Gate 3 thing is like really important, because if you stick with the 25-75 split, 75% of the people who own this box can't play it split screen.
Yeah.
No, we can't do that.
Yeah. It's really frustrated they made that console. I get they wanted to make a cheaper thing, but it's just going to keep showing its age more and more already, and going to make development just a pain in the ass.
It sucks, man. And the thing we get to later is about the mid-console refresh, doesn't it?
Yeah. We mentioned that they underestimated Baldur's Gate 3. And Larian people also were like, hey, in defense, everyone did. And we kind of weren't sure either. So, you know.
So did everyone else.
Yeah. Phil Spencer wasn't impressed by the PS5 reveal.
Why would he be?
They were like, hey, the Xbox XS is better than what Sony had. Yes, on the hardware side, Xbox Series X is slightly more powerful. But they really were like, no, our platform and services. It didn't work out that way, though.
The idea that PlayStation 5 has the disc and digital, but they have the same power, is like all the difference to me. I guess you're developing for one SKU. One
SKU there. And then just, for whatever reason, there was a lot of... Well, it's the momentum coming out of the last generation. The PS4 sold a ton. There's a ton of people in the Sony ecosystem. And the PS5 didn't really drop the ball. It had some dings and everything, but it didn't really generally stop people from just like, all right, I have a PlayStation, I'm getting the next PlayStation.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the PS3 going from an Xbox and PS2 to the PS3 and the 360, where the PS3 for the first year, just that whole transition was just botched. You went from like one of the biggest consoles ever to launching the PS3 and completely alienating consumers and developers. Completely.
Yep. Wow, making enemies there.
And then Microsoft making the 360, which was very easy to develop or very straightforward overall. So you didn't really have that going from this current last generation to this generation. You didn't really see those same mistakes out of Sony. So I think it was pretty hard for Microsoft to gain ground there without like some significant IP launching with it, and their big IP, Halo, was like a year later.
Yep.
And even wasn't received well.
Yeah, exactly. The multiplayer I felt like was received well for the first month, and then not.
Fell off pretty hard.
Single player was not.
Yep.
Oof. Next is, I think it's next. Yeah. I don't quite understand this Yakuza thing. Apparently they got Like a Dragon exclusive because Sega fucked up on some contracts. Is that how you read that?
What? Yeah, basically.
Microsoft was surprised that they got Like a Dragon. As I didn't hear about this one on any of the podcasts I listened to. What the fuck? Good. The silly story behind the weirdest Xbox exclusive. Complicated tale of contracts between Sony, Sega, and Microsoft led to Yakuza Like a Dragon skipping PS5. Weird. Okay.
So whoever, all the different lawyers dealing with that contract, wow, they screwed up pretty big.
Oh my god, this email is fucking hilarious. From Phil Spencer in June 1st, 2020, sends a link to a Twitter post from IGN that says, "This isn't next gen exclusive, is it?" Oh man, that's fucking hilarious.
That is really funny. Phil, you should know if this about that stuff. You shouldn't be reading it off of Twitter to be like, "Oh, this is a thing we did."
Okay, I'm gonna read this. I dove into another link. Tell me if this makes sense. Let's see here. Sony had a 12-month exclusivity deal with Sega for the PlayStation release of Like a Dragon in Japan and Asia. This meant Microsoft could not release an Xbox version of the game in Japan until that deal ended. However, Microsoft also had a contract with Sega that included a parity clause that prevented Sony from releasing a next-gen SKU of Like a Dragon in Japan until Xbox did too. And because Xbox couldn't release any version of the game in Japan until a PlayStation deal was done, Sony was unable to release a PS5 port in the same region.
Wow.
Fuck? And this is the email exchange with Spencer and Damon Baker, who you know up there, I believe. They used to be the indie guy at Nintendo.
Right.
Wow. Okay, this is fucking bonkers. Okay. Any other comments on that one?
No, it's hilarious that just kind of happened.
Yeah, exactly. You want to take the next one for us?
Yeah. Xbox Series X might go all digital in 2024. They have mock-ups at least of it's not a box anymore, it's a tube. Xbox Series X that drops the disk drive, gets some more storage, all digital. Just a refresh. Doesn't look like it has. The refresh at least isn't It's not like changing the graphics processing power or anything.
No,
it's all the
at all. Yeah.
surrounding things. Bigger hard drives, better USB-C ports, reduced power consumption, better low power modes, better Wi-Fi antennas. Basically just a more efficient, like, what was the 360 revision they had? It's the slim version.
Yeah, sustainability is like the big piece of this. Although I'm curious, is this the first time that an Xbox has not actually been a box? It's a fucking cylinder.
I know. Maybe?
I don't know, man. This looks... I mean, if this was posted somewhere on Twitter, you'd be like, this is fucking fake.
Yep.
But, man, this is real.
Yeah, and I love how everyone's pointing out that it looks like the Mac Pro from 2013, because it does.
I saw that. Oh my god. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Then they showed off a new controller that looks a lot like it's not like drastically different than the current controller.
I like the grips on the bottom.
People
keep saying it looks like it has pants, but
it does have. Oh, now I can't unsee it. Yes.
Yeah. But I do like how that looks. I don't know.
Direct to cloud, Bluetooth. Yep.
It's just things about the cloud streaming future where that's gonna be the thing that pulls.
Everyone keeps saying that. Yep. Everyone keeps saying that.
We'll see.
We're not there. We still haven't been there yet. We've tried.
I have an Xbox app on my TV. I have not tried it yet, but I'm curious how well it runs. I have that and a GeForce Now app.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Microsoft sees its next Xbox as a cloud hybrid machine. Yeah, kind of makes sense. It's diskless.
And they're aiming for 2028 for that, which makes sense.
Yeah, that's an 8-year. What is that? Yeah, 8-year generation.
Yeah, that's about right. 7-8 years is about between.
Yeah. none of this. I mean, I know it's like a huge leak and there's some embarrassing stuff in there, like in general, but it's nice to get like the real story from behind the scenes. But none of this is surprising. None of this is like, oh my god, what the fuck?
Yeah.
To me,
no, not really. I just can't believe it all got leaked. Which is hilarious.
Yeah. Spencer had tweeted, it sucks to have our folks, work outed in this way, but we'll let you know when the real news comes eventually.
Yeah,
so.
And a lot of that's years old, and and the thing that's about any kind of the game development side is a lot can change in a year.
Yeah.
So while there's probably still a grain of truth to a lot of it, I bet a lot of plans have changed because the world has changed in those 3 years. And they'll probably want to respond to what needs to be done now. Game Pass is huge now, so that's probably something that they'll maybe reevaluating and refocusing on. I know that there was leaks in there about like projections on what Game Pass would do, and I think it's bigger. Game Pass has done more than that.
Yeah.
And the way that they have it broken down is very different. So we'll see what ends up happening, but it's just a lot in there.
It's just, I feel like if you're Xbox, you're just like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, they released Starfield and it's mainly okay. And then, they get hit with this.
Yeah.
So, sucks to be Xbox.
It totally does right now. And on that front, that doesn't suck, transitioning, Baldur's Gate 3, because we can get back to it.
Nice transition. We're back to it. Baldur's Gate 3, baby. I
had a question for you, though.
Go.
So this is, we'll just say now, spoilers.
Oh, yeah.
The Last Light Inn was destroyed for you, basically. Everyone dead.
I mean, everyone's fucking dead. The inn.
How did the House in quest work for you, then?
Okay, so the House in quest, I think it's because I went and did speak with the dead to the guy in the bed.
Okay.
So I spoke to him, and he's the one that mentioned Thaniel.
Yep.
And then I went to camp, and I remember you talking about it, and I didn't think about it till afterwards. Happened to be in camp, and I was just wandering around. I was like, where the fuck is Halsin? And I finally found him. He was like down a corridor, up a hill, or whatever. I was like, well, he's fucking far away from everybody. But he had an exclamation mark above his head. He's like, then he told me the whole thing about Thaniel and how he has to, like, he's kind of the key to, drop the shadow curse or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, fuck. He's like, meet me at the shore. And I was like, okay. And I look at the map and he's there. I'm like, cool. And I go and he's there and he's like, defend me. I'm going to go into this portal and get Thaniel. Defend me. And it's basically like a 4-turn thing where I'm defending.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that come at you.
Oh, there's a lot of guys. And I barely made it. It was really quite awesome. It was such a fun experience. And then he came out and then, we talked and then he said, you have to go find where the other part of him is, Oliver is basically. And I went and found Oliver and we played hide and seek. And then I had to defeat his mom, his dad, and a dog.
Yep.
And then he disappeared. I don't know where the fuck he is. Like, it says I need to go there and find him, and he's gone. So
have you done, or do you have a potion of see invisibility?
I need to fucking my party.
Or somebody that can see.
Yeah,
see
Carla
through
can
invisibility.
see invisibility. Yeah, okay, great, thank you.
Potentially.
Yeah, because the first time it was just a high perception roll, and I found him. So I was like, okay, that's. But then after the fight, he disappears again, and you found him again.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, perfect.
I believe I did.
Because that's been. Honestly, that one piece has been driving me nuts. That like makes me want to like take a break because I was like, it's bugged. It's a bug. But I was like, maybe I got to go somewhere else because I know people were talking about, if you're stuck in a quest, go somewhere else, and maybe the solution will be somewhere else. So I went and I continued exploring. I guess the Last Light Inn, I went into the rafters where there was one of the Throms was like this gold Throm, whatever, level 8 gold monster who wanted gold, and I couldn't talk my way out of it. And a fight that I absolutely could not win. Although I had Halsin in my party, he has a power to like heat metal, so I like heated her body, thinking like, oh, this is it, and that didn't do shit. I got my ass wiped. So then I went down to the brewery or whatever. I don't know what it was.
Drink the drinking game.
Yeah, I outdrank that guy, and I was like, this. I had Halsin in my party at that point, and he perfectly outdrank him, and he just exploded.
Yep.
But Halsin, from all that I understand, he's like permanently in my party now. which is interesting because when we talked last time where I basically fucked everything up where Isabel got taken and it's like, oh, you're never going to get him. I was like,
I didn't think you would. I'm impressed that they put the Speak with Dead thing in there because I think you needed to do that.
You do need to.
If you didn't, I thought there'd just be no way. But you're right. Speak with Dead. They considered it that this person might be dead, and you might have to speak with Dead to trigger Halsin's questline.
Well, I had talked to him before he died, and it was like this. I have to go to some cave somewhere else to like find where a person went. So I just happened to talk to. He was one of the 5 people I happened to talk to, or whatever. And then after shit went crazy, I was like, oh no. Maybe he has more information about where I'm supposed to go. Wasn't thinking about Halsin at all, and I just happened to do Speak to the Dead, and he talked to me.
Yep.
But I read other people's accounts. They're like, yeah, if he's fucked up, like if he's too damaged to talk to, you can't get the information, and you're done. Like,
okay.
Shit,
that's what I thought. I thought you were like, guess what? Because if you don't do that quest line, you will not get Halsin. Or you can be in your party now, but if you don't finish the quest line, he will not follow you to Act 3.
Exactly. So I think I still have to finish the Thaniel thing.
You have to get rid of the Shadow Curse. If the Shadow Curse still exists, he will not go to Act 3.
Yep. So I will go back with Karlach in my party who can see invisibility, or just use a potion, and then see if he's still there.
See if you can,
Because I wandered around there for like 45 minutes. I was like, I gotta be missing him somewhere, but I never thought about the invisibility.
He should be in the middle of the house that he
That's what I thought. He should be. Yeah, exactly. So I'll go back and do that. So that's that. So I basically have wandered around there a little bit, and then I went south right there where it said Moonrise Tower. It's like, oh, are you sure you want to go here? I was like, fuck no, I'm not ready for this. I don't have the relic. That's one of the quests I have to do to get Throm's relic or whatever. So I think I need to do that. And obviously I want to level up a little bit and take out the gold lady if I can. She has fucking high health. So.
Yes. I won't spoil it. There's a trick to the fight if you want to straight up fight it, and then there's also a way to beat it through conversation.
Yeah, the conversation I just failed, so I bet I can trick her into like I'm the replacement, or no, you're supposed to leave, or what? I don't know what.
No, there was something I did there about like the first time I did through. I don't remember. It was I went through conversation and she exploded.
Oh,
I made her explode gold.
Oh, I mean, I kept throwing gold at her, and then eventually I stopped. I don't know if I keep doing that.
I don't know if that was... I don't know. You could try.
Yeah. I mean, I threw like 8 pieces at her, and I was like, this is doing nothing.
The second playthrough, I was having a tough time because I was fighting. Straight up trying to fight. Yeah. And there's a trick to the fight.
Okay, that's interesting.
There's a mechanic to the whole thing.
Cool. But I'm totally enjoying it. It's nice. It's the first time in a long time that I cycled someone out of my party, and I'm, rolling with Halsin a little bit right now, and I like him. I like his abilities. He's pretty fun playing as a druid. Except for I keep putting fucking spikes on the ground, and then when the fight's over, the spikes are still there, and I have to like walk across that area.
So is it concentration, the spikes?
Maybe? I don't know.
Do you know how to stop a concentration spell?
I don't know.
So underneath on the left side, let's say you have a character selected. That is doing a concentration spell. Mm-hmm. Their bottom bar on the very left hand side, I think is that where their portrait is, or it's their like class? No, it's a class symbol. Mm-hmm. It's where the level up text would be as well. Mm-hmm. That's where you'd press it. Below, like just below it and to the left, are little circles of what you're concentrating on.
Yeah,
and you can press a little X. There's an X by it. You can just click the X by the circle. And it will dismiss your concentration.
That's nice to know. I wonder if I can do that on controller. Probably.
There has to be who knows how to do it on controller. I have no clue. Although it's all radial, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's somewhere in one of those radials.
Well, usually, like if I have like a familiar, I can click on, hit left trigger, go to the portrait, and then go over to the familiar. So I could probably go over to the circles because that's where they are.
Yeah.
I'll try that because I'm like, I just sat there and burned them until they burned up.
Sure.
Like, because it was like in the Shadowlands, like this is my only path. I need to walk across this fucking place.
Yeah.
God damn it, looking for fucking Thaniel or Oliver. So, game's still great. Now that it's not a bug, I'm much more excited about getting back to it because I was just bummed. I don't want to be stopped by bugs if I know what to do. But yes, obviously, I should have thought about other tricks that I have up my sleeve.
Which bug?
The bug where I thought Oliver just disappeared. I was like, he's gone.
But I don't think that's a bug. I'm not I'm Googling and I'm not seeing people talk about that being a bug, and I haven't had him just go away on both my playthroughs. But I also didn't, do the quest the same way you are.
Yes,
so
exactly. Well, the reason why I didn't think about it is because he was invisible at first, but I triggered a perception roll.
Sure.
But I haven't triggered any rolls. So I'll just bring Karlach with me because she can see invisibility because I scooped out her eye.
Oh, yeah.
Like the artist guy, I believe it's not the artist, it's Volo.
Volo, yes.
Yeah. And I don't know if he ever comes back or if it was just for that thing. But you are in Act 3 and things are different.
I am in Act 3. I don't really want to spoil the thing that I found. But it did do... I don't know why I didn't find this the first time through, and it was like maybe I just missed the NPC that this came from, but it's that, or maybe they wait. I wonder if it's because I didn't do the Halsin stuff, because it's stuff with the fists, in that room with the guy that you're trying to. Who is this in the whole thing? Right. You may not get this quest. Just letting you know.
Yeah, you know what? I understand that I've locked myself out of about 500 quests at this point.
Not that you can't do it. Yeah. If you're at a point, I think you would. It's not the thing that I did is tied to a quest that led me to it. But I'm pretty sure if you don't have the quest, you could still enter this dungeon area without it and still get the rewards and do the thing. But it did bring up some interesting lore to the Forgotten Realms overall.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's like some big lore about the city of Baldur's Gate itself, and its founding. Mm-hmm. So that was neat. And then doing the big fight that I had to do there rewarded me with 2 legendary items.
Oh, nice.
A helm of Baldur's Gate, which I can't remember exactly what it did, but it was real good. But then it was also a big 2-handed sword that applies your strength bonus twice to damage.
Oh, fuck, I need that.
It does so much damage.
Oh, I need that.
I have it on... I have Lizelle as my fighter.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
And, she's just crushing things.
Well, I mean, that I'm... My origin, or whatever character is a fighter. My made-up character.
Your class, yeah.
Yeah. And actually, there was a fight where... I don't know where it was. Somewhere... Fuck. It was amazing because my fucking other 3 people got their asses handed to them. And it's just my fighter just like by the skin of her teeth fucking wrecking everybody, bringing people back, standing them up, basically helping them. Action surging, fucking got haste going on. Like I beat that fucking fight by 1 hit point. It was like a bunch of spiders somewhere in Act 2 somewhere. And it was through a hole in the back of somewhere in the Last Light Inn, maybe. But man, it was just so awesome because I survived by 1 hit point and then got everyone back up and felt epic. There's so many epic moments in this game. It's really crazy.
That sounds like it. For you and then for me, just a ton of epic things that I'm just like, I didn't even know that existed or that happened. And yeah, it's been real incredible.
I'm wondering if I'm going to get to Act 3 because I don't know what. I know the speedrunners use the Netherese orb in some way, but I feel committed to blowing Gale up.
Okay.
And I don't know if that ends the game. I don't know what that does. So we'll find out. I'm sure it cuts off content in some way, which is fine because I'm going to play this game again at some point. But it's not the only game I'm playing. We're also playing... my daughter's been really into space. We've been watching a bunch of Nat Geo videos on the different planets, and she's just been like a sponge for the information, and just like her mind was blown that one day the sun will explode and die.
Weirdly, my kids have weird sometimes thoughts like, but then the sun's gonna blow up. I'm like, yeah, in billions of years.
It's hard for my daughter to. She was like, so what's the chances that happens in my kid's lifetime? 0. How about my kid, whatever, 0. And she went like, 500 kids from now, 0. Like it's 6.5 billion years if they're accurate. We've only been around for 5 billion years. Like we're not even halfway yet.
Yeah.
But it is like the existential like dread. Like, oh shit. like this Earth is going to be evaporated? Well, yeah, probably one day. But I was like, if you want to, explore space a little more, let's fire up No Man's Sky. And man, that captivated her.
All right.
So, all these different planets, and like, then she got into base building, and I have like the mode on where like I have basically infinite resources.
Sure.
So she's just like building this fucking massive mansion in the fucking ice planet. It's awesome. So yeah, she spent a lot of time doing that this weekend. So then I'm compelled, because she does things as a 6-year-old. So then at night I'm like, okay, how do I set up this fucking? Last night I set up this fucking solar panel field, hooked up the battery so that everything in the base can run, night or day. And then today she just expands the shit out of her base and puts planking 3-5 feet over top of the solar panel. So it's just like covered. God damn it. But I'm doing some of the quests and stuff at night. So I've actually played No Man's Sky 2 nights this week when I should have been playing Baldur's Gate.
It happens.
So no, it's been fun. So
that's cool.
Yeah. What about you? Anything else?
So was out at System Era's space camp for the last Thursday and Friday of last week. But the thing I was playing that came out last week, a little bit before that, Monster Hunter Now.
Oh, that's the mobile.
It's Niantic, Pokemon Go people, Monster Hunter. Wow, it is Pokemon. If you liked the general idea of Pokemon Go, of walking around and finding things, it's that. It just has mechanical meat to it.
Okay.
It's fast, but I mean, it's Monster Hunter. You fight those monsters. Their just fights are like 2 minutes at most, or you fail. But you still have to be attacking and dodging. All the weapons that they have don't have all of them. They have like 8 different weapons in the types.
Insect glaive?
No, not yet. And that doesn't surprise me. I'm like, they don't have the super complicated ones in there yet. I'm sure those would roll out later. But you fight your monsters, you get your parts, do your gathering points. This is all geolocative, so you can walk around and get them to fight better monsters and upgrade your gear and armor and weapons and different elemental affinity type aspects going on. It's Monster Hunter. The thing that is great about it for me, where Pokemon Go kind of failed for me, I enjoyed it whenever I was commuting. If I'm at my house, there was shit to do anywhere around my house. Like I there was stuff to do where I live if I went into town, which is like it's a 5-minute drive into town. I'm not just gonna do that for Pokemon Go. Like, I can't do anything at my house in Pokemon Go. Monster Hunter World, I totally can. Like,
oh, nice.
Not a ton, but I can take little walks around my house, even in my yard, and fight different monsters. I can go do the normal 20-minute walk that I will go on sometimes, little loop near my house, and there's tons of monsters to fight, things to collect around there. They have set the lore up here so that monsters can be anywhere, and make it useful wherever you're at. But went up onto the space camp thing. We were at Lake Wenatchee State Park is where we went, and me and a number of coworkers just did Monster Hunter walks all over the state park. And there was so much at the state park.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it refreshes every like 3 or 4 hours, like what's there. And so we would just go. We would spend a lot of time walking around hunting monsters. Because it has co-op group play if you're around people. You can
all fight the monster together.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's pretty slick. I'm pretty happy with it. Makes me excited for the next Monster Hunter game, which will probably either be announced or come out next March, if they shadow drop it.
Yeah, because that's their anniversary.
20th anniversary.
Yeah.
I really thought they would show something at TGS, Tokyo Game Show, which was going on this past weekend, but
it was just like, here's a website.
That's, hey, the 20th anniversary is in March. I'm like, I know they've said that Rise is done. There's no more updates for Rise, and that's been for a bit now.
Just Rise and Sunbreak, right?
Yeah, Sunbreak was its final. What was its expansion, and then there was some update, like small updates after the expansion. It's the same cycle that they did with Monster Hunter World,
right? Previously,
and I'm like, okay, it's time. It's about time, like for the next one. my thought is it probably got slightly delayed. So I bet we'll get an announcement in March is my realistic take. My hopeful take is we get it just dropped in March, which I expect will be Monster Hunter World 2 or whatever they're going to call it.
That's what it feels like.
It's that team. Next. That's the team. Like, they have two teams working on Monster Hunter.
That makes more sense then, yeah.
Yeah, there's the Rise team, which was the team that had been working on the, 3DS games. They, leapfrog each other now. The two teams. So, the team that did World is their game. Should be coming out. And they still could. My way, the hopeful thing is there'll be the announcement with, a trailer will actually be at, the Game Awards this year, with it coming out in March. But realistically, they're probably just announcing in March.
Right, for a summer, fall release.
Yeah. So, Monster Hunter now just gets me excited for more Monster Hunter. And then, since I left for that thing in the morning on Thursday for the camping, but it was after Cyberpunk's 2.0 patch came out. So I made sure that was set to automatically update while I was gone, and it did. Mm-hmm. It's 55 gigabyte update.
Jesus.
And I've been playing a bit of that today.
How's that been?
It's a much better game. It just really feels better. Just playing it feels better.
Yeah.
And then playing it on a much better graphics card that I have now. I have ray tracing up at psycho qualities on it.
Damn.
It's such a pretty game. Holy cow, it's beautiful.
I don't think my 3060 does DLS 3.5. I think that's 4.
No, only 4,000. I can't even do that. I have a 30 series.
But you have some DLSS, right?
Yeah, I have the same. I have the frame.
3.0.
I have 3.
Yeah.
No, not 3.0. 3.0 is 40 series only. That's that's frame generation.
Okay.
So it's whatever the 2, 2.5. But that's good enough. It's the upscaling.
Well, I'm looking forward to checking it out because I have the original game. And now that's dropped, I've heard good things about. I mean, Phantom Liberty I've heard is really good, but the 2.0 sounds really good too.
I think it just smooths it out, and it is playing it being oh yeah, this looks really good. The voice acting is really good. Actually, I was listening on my drive out to camp. I was listening to the Kind of Funny Gamecast review of Phantom Liberty, and they brought up the exact point, and I agree. Now playing it, when you compare BG3 and Cyberpunk and Starfield as RPGs, BG3 and Cyberpunk's characters just feel alive.
Yeah.
They just do. The way that they animate, move, they feel like real characters living in the world that you're in, where Starfield's characters are just the Bethesda, I stare at you.
Yes, exactly.
It's so unnerving.
All the stuff that I've heard and seen about Starfield, this is not a game for me.
No.
And hearing Phantom Liberty, I'm God, I want to get to that one before the end of the year.
Yeah. I want to see Idris Elba in this.
I've heard it's so fucking good. Oh man, that makes me excited.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. Going back through it, everything's just a little cleaner. The combat is cleaner and better. The skill perks and progression trees are better.
Yep.
It's quite a bit less buggy. It's more performant. It's the game that should have been released. Honestly,
right?
It was what was promised.
It just took them that long to
get there at this point. And you'll get Phantom Liberty, and they've said that there's no more. They're not going to be doing any DLCs, more DLCs or expansions for it. There'll be some update still, but they're working on the next one, which will be an Unreal Engine 5. Well, they're done with Red Engine.
Building off of what apparently they've done with Phantom Liberty, that's a good step forward.
Yeah.
So nice work recovering. To be honest.
Yeah, it took them a while, and they got there. I mean, you talked about No Man's Sky, same thing. Took them a long time to get there, but they got there.
I wonder how. I mean, I know people have been playing No Man's Sky, in some regard, but how many people turn back to it after Starfield or when Starfield? Sure. They want that instead.
Yeah.
God fucking damn it, that game is good. It's really, really. I don't know what, man. Surprising is not the right word, but I'm just having so much fun with all the updates. It's just made the quality of life so much better.
Oh yeah.
So I'm
it's
just
made it a much better game.
So good. Yeah.
Oh, so, cool.
Yeah. Well, this is episode 400 of Pop and Dev Play Games. If you like us, please rate us on your podcast service of choice. And we will be back in the next 8 years with another 400 episodes.
Oh, my God.
I'll be 50 at that point.
No!
Yeah. Guess so will you. All right, friends. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week.
All right. Later, everyone.